the 6-month anniversary of Occupy took place to this weekend, and of course they went back into the park over by Wall Street, and the cops came in and broke it apart for supposedly for breaking park rules, and legitimately speaking, I think there's some. Legitimately speaking, there are some First Amendment rights and issues about the right to free assembly versus the the rules of the park. But I've got to clarify some things here, and in this part here, speaking to fellow libertarians, really. I've seen Ron Paul, Gary Johnson, Libertarian Party candidate for president this year, Gary Johnson, and this is really unbelievable is Alfred Adask of the Sovereign Citizens Movement stating that Occupy, that they have sympathies with Occupy. They think it has merits, and I think my message to you guys well, I'm sure Ron Paul's a little bit busy, but if Gary Johnson, Alfred Adask, people like that are paying any attention to anything I do, or their kin. Not literally, but I gotta say, I don't think that you've read the fine print on what these guys are. I think you really do have to go back and read Judith Butler. I think you have to read Karl Marx. I think you have to read Foucault. I think you have to read a lot of bad grad student essays on Foucault, and a lot of just terrible post-structuralist material, to get a real sense of what a lot of these David Graeber and all these people are really saying. And I don't think Alfred Adask has taken a good look at it. I think he just likes Occupy just because it's anti-government and anti-bailout. The idea of Alfred Adask, I went to Bard College, and a lot of these people I went to Bard with, they're now in Occupy. They're now involved with Occupy, and we got this guy. This guy I went to college with, Devin Irby. I know he's involved with Occupy, and then this guy Yates McKee. This guy, he's a one. He appears to be, he's got articles in the Nation about Occupy, but Yates. I'm going to tell you right now, fellow libertarians, you're not going to like Yates McKee. I mean, you're not going to. You want to talk about statism and bureaucracy that's going to put Barack Obama to shame, vote for Occupy. Because these are card-carrying Marxists of the most dogmatic and ridiculous kinds. And the Yates McKee is one of the most annoying human beings I've ever encountered. I mean, they had this one memory that I have very clearly of Yates McKee, and it's really the one memory that has stuck in my mind and has been definitive in how I understand who Yates McKee is that I was sitting there in this lecture by an art history guy by the name of Arthur Danto. Is some some art history type figure, and it became Q&A section, and Yates McKee stood up. I think he was probably only like 19, 20 years old at the time. He stood up, asked some very, very, very lengthy question about art and capital in thick, thick post-Marxist terminology that didn't appear to have anything clearly to do. I mean, I can't remember what the specific content of it was or what it had to do with Danto's. Danto's lecture was pretty straightforward. Rundown of 20th century modern art. It was a pretty standard like rundown of Warhol, Jackson Pollock, whoever else, and then Yates McKee stood up and started his capital and this and that, and very, very standoffishly questioning whether or not Arthur C. Danto's lecture fell in line with like Marxist party line, basically. Arthur Danto kind of looked at him funny and said, "Yeah, well, the lecture is not. That's not the topic of the lecture, effectively." So, people in office, they're gonna come in and they're gonna try and shut you down for having your shoelaces tied not Marxist enough. I mean, that's what Occupy. That's the core heart of Occupy. But to finish this off, we got a special guest who's going to tell us exactly what's going to come of this whole Occupy movement thing. Absolutely nothing.